Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you don't know who we are, this is Mom. I am Millennial. I almost called you Millennial and called myself Mom.
That's funny.
It's been a week, to say the least.
You digress every week.
Anywho, this is season 15, episode 5 of San Diego.
What?
Episode 5.
Tell me you said 5.
Oh, maybe I did. See, now you need to digress.
Well, be okay. Name of the episode.
Well, we don't want to stall anymore. Let's just hop right into the episode. Now, before we even start the episode, I lied. I got a question for you guys. And let us know in the comments down below. Would you rather us go by episode order or by couples? Mom likes to do episode order. I like to do by couples.
Well, you call it episodes. I say show order or couples. I think, in my opinion, as the show progresses and the couples are doing things more individually as couples instead of right now the honeymoon where it's all kind of like mixed together. I think for me is because some people are still new to the franchise, believe it or not.
I believe
that is by episode or the storyline should be the best way to go. But that's just me. But let us know in the comments below.
Well, today we're going by scene. So, Mom, go ahead and start it off. Who was first?
All right. So first, there's a few quick scenes, but overall, we'll just start with Stacia and Nate. So last night, Stacia said that, or they both said there was a preview of what her husband is capable of, and she wants to build the sexual tension naturally, organically, that she doesn't want to feel like she's giving her body to him just based off the feeling of her body, but from her heart.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice of her to say.
Yeah.
What you said last week, lustful?
Mm-hmm. So she wants it to be more meaningful than lustful. Mm-hmm. So they say. I mean, we never know what goes on behind cameras, but we're going to let her stick to her story.
Now, then we see Miguel. He's with Lindy.
You get it right.
And Miguel says there's sexual tension there. But you know what? Just for all the couples minus Ben and Morgan for right now, there's sexual tension with at least one of the couples or one person and not the actual other person. So I think there's a lot of that going on in this particular honeymoon. We didn't necessarily hear that before in other seasons where there was a lot of, seemed like sexual pent-up frustration as if they've known each other for a long time.
You know what I think it is? It just hit me. I think, and this is just my opinion, that they, of course, seen Married at First Sight before. Mm-hmm. And for those who might not be feeling attracted to their partner, Mitch, they're just saying, they feel the sexual attraction, so they won't get, ate up by bloggers and YouTubers, just to be like, what, maybe he is on the show and maybe he is trying.
You think they care about that?
Yes.
You do? The only person I can see maybe caring about that is Nate. Because he was the one, when they got in their activity, was about the social media thing that was going on with IG. But all the other couples, I just can't imagine them being like, I wonder what they're going to say on social media. No.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when people get on TV now. You think about what people are going to see on social media.
Oh, maybe. All right, well... So, you know what? Let's just jump to the couple and their activities. So, Nate and Stacia, they go off-road.
Off-roading four-wheelers.
That's it. I couldn't think of the word. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And apparently, Nate looked like he's done this before because he's driving the thing and he's like, woo, woo, come on. She's like, oh my God, it's so rocky. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, I guess Nate, either he drives super fast and she can't catch up, or he's on a whole different off-roading path and he's hitting up his IG post live streaming.
That's dangerous.
Very. But Nate, come on. Why are we bringing the social media thing into this?
Because he wants to, I was gonna say he wants to document his experience, but
yeah, but technically not on social media. You're on an NDA, so you streaming on IG should be part of the NDA, shouldn't it?
If Noya from last season was able to post little subliminals to her now going to be ex-husband on social media, he could post his excursion.
Yeah. All right. So after they get done with that, there was a little tense scene because Stacia was like, Well, you know, your social media shouldn't be more than this relationship. Like, you shouldn't put that value that first over me. Like, we're still getting to know each other and things like that. He's like, well, you know, I just had to get it in real quick. I'm like, see that?
You know what I thought was interesting with that part? He said that, you know, because they're still new, he can't just flip the switch yet and be like, boom, relationship.
I happen to agree with it. I've said that before on many seasons, but
no, see, now we have to take it back a few seasons for our OGs. When Taylor was doing all that social media stuff, people dug into Taylor.
But Taylor had been married. This was like weeks when we saw Taylor on her IG. See, we didn't know about this. But you know what? That goes into what I was trying to say up until now. Like, what is it about Nate that I can't put my finger on? Is he going to be another Taylor with the IG thing if it's already on the honeymoon? Just asking.
Well, let's move on.
So moving to Justin and Alexis. Okay, so they look like they're having a nice little couples horseback riding. They're holding hands. They're kissing in every scene we see. And is that a tongue twister? In every scene we see. And I guess it's come across lovey-dovey. Now I'm truly rooting for everyone really when they first start, but I still am not seeing a electric spark from them, or really any spark. The sparks I see are coming from Justin, who keeps talking about the spark, but I'm not getting it overall.
He's very excited about everything and all of it, and she seems excited too, but she's not as excited as Justin, which makes sense with what we're going to find out along the way.
Right. So then let's move to Mitch and Kristen paddleboarding. Honestly, this episode is called We'll Be Okay.
I'm sorry. I have to cut you off.
All right.
This was my favorite scene because Mitch. He was here for this paddleboarding. He was like, you know what? I could do this. I can go on this paddleboarding. I don't care if I got my wife here. My wife is here, whoever she is, but we can go paddleboarding, period. I was like, show us who you really are, Mitch.
He already showed us who he was. She's been showing us since the wedding, in my opinion. But, he said, before I get into what he said, you're right. I thought this was his scene too. They're on the beach, they're paddleboarding. That's what he seemed like he would normally do. But this was truly the Kristen and Mitch episode to me. Didn't you feel like that? Like, seemed like we always come back to Kristen and Mitch. Is that because they're the ones who's presenting with the most current issue that they can't seem to get past?
And I think production was trying to give us enough backstory to how they get to where they're going to get to in future episodes.
And I'm surprised that Mitch was like, oh yeah, she looks good in her bikini. I'm thinking, I'm surprised you didn't want her in a burlap sack since you wanted her so natural all the time with everything.
I mean, with Mitch, I don't know. He's just a toss of a coin flip right there. But he likes to let us know that it's all about this anxiety with him, especially when he goes on to talk to his friend on the phone about how, he's not really feeling attracted to her, but he is feeling attracted to her. It's just kind of like, Mitch, are you actually being present with the experience, or are you just trying to like find someone who you're fully attracted to from a pinup post and go from there?
I don't know, but after they did their paddleboarding and whatever else they did on the beach, they had conversations. Well, the whole show was about them having conversations. But Kristen was saying, she felt like they were good. They could be good travel buddies, and they have the same sense of humor. And I'm thinking, do you really, Kristen?
I don't think so. But you know what? Maybe they do behind camera.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of things we don't see behind camera. But then the topic of sex comes up, and before we even see the next scene with them, I just felt that it was awkward before I felt and saw how awkward it really was.
Awkward as a couple or awkward as individuals?
Awkward as, well, clearly individuals, because Kristen is already trending towards that level.
Well, it could be as a couple too.
No. Just the way that Mitch...
Their dynamic?
Yes.
So as a couple.
All right. Mitch is hoping to move closer towards Kristen in this scene.
You are a liar.
That's what he's saying.
Mitch is not hoping to move nothing.
I'm not a liar. You listen now.
You lied on behalf of Mitch.
I'm not, because I typed it out. That's what he said. He's hoping to come closer. And Kristen is like, you know what? Hopefully we can. I just know that I have to take it slow. That's Kristen. So see, I feel like the roles kind of, traditional roles have reversed here, where Kristen is like, okay, now I need to take it slow, versus Mitch, who's already been saying that. But, you know what I'm saying? Traditional roles as man versus woman. Now they reverse, like, oh, well, now I need to take it slow because he's not into it. Because, like I said, Kristen is trending towards getting more romantic and stepping up on that level. But we'll touch on that in a moment. So when we see Lindy and Miguel, I didn't see them doing excursions. They really they went together for drinks and either a late lunch, dinner, or something like that. And the one thing that I've noticed about Lindy and Miguel, and hopefully I don't repeat myself like I repeat myself with Stacia and her success, is they have a lot of long-winded conversations. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting to know each other already, but it seems like they're getting to know each other, like, all there seems to be, like, drug out with whatever they're talking about. It seems like they really had to edit those conversations down, because even I'm like,
well,
again?
this was a good long-winded conversation, because we actually got to know more about Miguel and his upbringing in Puerto Rico, and him not speaking Spanish, and his mom abandoning him. Now we know why his mom abandoned him, because she has schizophrenia. So this was very, it gave us an insight to what Miguel's been through and why his sister is like so like overprotective of him.
No, I get that part. I get that. I'm just saying in general as a reference. Every time we see them have a conversation, even there's nothing going on, and even if you can detect something or not, it just seems like there's just always like overextending.
Well, they both talk about it, and I feel like Miguel likes to, you know, not trying to be like one up her, but you know, like he's a little bit better than her, in my opinion. Miguel has been very surprising to me. He's not who I thought he was going to be.
Well, Lindy, one thing about Lindy and her conversation that we're learning is like, yes, she grew up with religious background, but also Lindy had sexual relations before she was married. You know, I mean, does her brother know? Do they know that she did that?
He do now.
And when her parents divorced when she was in the 8th grade, she went to go live with her high school boyfriend. I'm like, now that's got to be out the circle, because from what they're presenting, I'm like, wow, Lindy, you really, you know, have your own mind and went left. I mean, like I said, when her brother hears about this, or the family, but still but her brother should have been there if she went to go live with a boyfriend. But anyways, I digress. All right. So now we see Mitch on the phone. And he's talking to his brother.
Yep, what I talked about earlier.
Yep, but except for Mitch says he's very stressed. He didn't know this process would be this way, so on and so forth.
He's stressed because he's not in the present mind.
He said he's not feeling the physical spark with Kristen, and what should he do?
I will agree with Kristen later on when she does bring this up. I do think he is lying that he doesn't feel any physical attraction towards her. I think he's lying about that.
Well, he tells his brother he can't pretend to be attracted to someone, and that's true. You can't pretend. But with this conversation, I'm happy to hear that Mitch is being open and honest with his brother. But the thing that always comes around is they never really tell their spouses like right away. It always like seems like it takes a few episodes to get to the point, or when the experts come in. Later on in the evening, we see Mitch and Kristen again. Like I said, this was their episode. Coming back for dinner. And Mitch does tell her that, you know, the physical attraction, the spark is not there. And I was like, yes, someone finally did it the first time and not like 4 or 5 weeks later. Okay. And Kristen said she was blindsided by this. And I was thinking, really, Kristen? Like, because he hasn't really been as lovey-dovey. I mean, again, maybe behind the scenes or something. But she says she's blindsided, and Kristen actually gets emotional. They both actually get emotional with this scene and this conversation. Like, how do you think that Kristen took? You think Mitch was in the right, or you think Kristen was like
Kristen
overreacting?
already felt like she knew what he was gonna say a little bit, and I'm glad Mitch told her because he needed to, and not like, you know, had sexual relations and then kept going on. But later on in the episode, I do agree with Kristen. He does send mixed signals.
So then we see Alexis and Justin having dinner. Now, one thing I noticed about them, were they matchy-matchy?
Doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for.
No,
we're here for the conversation.
It doesn't matter. I wrote down they are matchy-matchy, and I like their outfits. I did enjoy their outfits. But Here's the thing with their dinner. They sit down and they seem just right away to jump into the fishbowl. Just right in. Mm-hmm. Alexis talks about being vulnerable, and Justin talks about he loves Alexis. He not just loves Alexis, he's in love with Alexis. He knew from the moment that they met at the altar and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Pause. Before you even go on, we forgot to mention this important detail, Lisa. I think it's important.
Okay.
Earlier in the episode, Alexis says that she can feel that Justin loves her just by the way he looks at her.
Mm-hmm.
So she already had a feeling, this man probably likes me a lot more than what she's feeling. But she likes the love that she's receiving. She likes the look. She likes the attention. It's actually making her feel more vulnerable in a sense. Okay. So while she eventually is going to tell Justin that, she doesn't love him yet, I can actually see her falling in love with him just by the actions that he's been showing her.
Well,
unless he pulls back.
I think that's hard for me to even consider the love thing. I think, like you said last week with Stacia and Nate, maybe it's a lust thing, because love is very strong now. Noi pulled that last season on day 2 of the honeymoon as well. Like, she was in love with Steve, and it's like got upset because
you got upset.
He got upset because, she got upset because he didn't say it back right away. And Justin, his emotions came out because Alexis said, I don't know how you feel that way, pretty much. Like, I can't say it to you right now. And he was like, okay, whenever you have time, or not whenever you have time, or whenever you feel it in your heart and things like that. And I personally, my opinion, think that's a bit much. Yes, there's such thing as love at first sight. There is such a thing. I don't think this is it, though. Because now, you have to remember, they said that they were matched on Hinge, they were matched on different dating apps and profiles. He was never her type. Clearly, she was his type, because he's like, oh, do you remember me? So how was this the love thing supposed to...
She was
his type.
Okay.
And she wasn't, she was like, swipe, yeah, I saw we matched, but nope, keep going, right? And so, I don't know. But I think Justin loves hard anyways. He's another one of the people who I would put under the category of he loves love.
I think this could be a grow to love relationship.
It could be, but I think
as long as he doesn't pull back, because he started to cry a little bit, which is okay, and as long as she is actually willing to be more vulnerable with him.
Okay, we'll have to see.
We agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. So then we see Stacia and Nate at dinner, and she was saying how her mom called and asked how everything was going. See, that would be me. Girl, how everything going?
You would be like, hey, girl, so how's your honeymoon going? I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm with Nate. He's treating me so nice. You're like, did you know he filed for bankruptcy? I'm like, huh? Who?
Yeah. So that conversation happened, and when Stacia mentioned his name, he said, huh?
Like,
or was that to the post snap?
He's like, oh yeah, I filed for bankruptcy, but it was when I was with this partner and we started up this business, but it didn't really go too well, so we had to file for bankruptcy. That was in San Diego.
Yeah, that's the reason why he's in San Diego. See, to me, you left out a little bit more tidbits, or it was cut out.
No, he left it out. But do we really need to know? The bottom line is, for him, he had bankruptcy. He moved to San Diego for a new start. Allegedly, it's cleared after 6 months. I didn't know it could happen, but hey.
That fast?
I never filed for bankruptcy, so I don't know. So now he's all good in the neighborhood.
But think about this. I'm going to digress a little bit. If you just file for bankruptcy and everything's just washed away and you're back on track, have the best credit in 6 months, who wouldn't be doing that?
I don't know. Maybe he just got a type of money in a tax bracket that we just don't know of.
Maybe not, but they had a conversation about having children, and Stacia says she wants kids in the next year, and they was like, what? That's a little too fast.
Well, he also did say that he knows that she is older, so he knew that the timeline would be a little bit shorter than his timeline at the same time, so that's nothing really too wild to expect. But were you surprised that Nate was actually agreeing with the post-nut?
I didn't think he would at first, because in her confessional, she's like, well, if he doesn't, take it, then relationship is over. I think, just like you said, he's doing it so she would feel comfortable. Do I think he wants to? No, I don't. Then we finally see Ben and Morgan, the rest of their wedding, a little bit of their reception, the cake, and they took some cute, fun pictures. I thought the pictures looked natural. I enjoyed their pictures the most out of everybody. Mm-hmm. And they seem to get along as if they've known each other for a while. Like, their conversation seemed to flow like a whole lot more natural than the other couples, in my opinion.
The only thing I got from their scene, and I mean their entire scene, was she's not a wine girl, she's a beer girl, and I can see that. That's it. But but you know what? To each his own. Which you like, wine or beer?
No comment. I can't have anything anymore anyways for right now. But the conversations during their reception of children came up too, from his mother, because I guess he's the oldest boy or the oldest child from them, and she's ready for grandchildren, and from her bridesmaid and maid of honor that came up. Well, we learned that Morgan doesn't really want to have children. That's what they told Ben. They said, well, they were like, if you met someone, would you be willing? She said, well, she said, yeah. I wasn't confident with that answer.
She wants to travel first. She wants to see the world. She wants to do her Muay Thai. Excuse me if I mispronounced that wrong. Mm-hmm. She just wants to live her life. She don't want to have the extras of carrying around children.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah, I do too. But
how? You had children young.
If I had a chance to do it over again, I would have waited a lot longer than what I did. And yes, I did have you guys young. But also, too, with the wedding, like the very next day was Ben's 30th birthday. So, he got 2 parties in one. So that was cute, too. But they also learned that they're going on the honeymoon, Puerto Vallarta. Boom. There you go. But another thing from there, I know you only got one scene, when they were in the room, and she's like, oh my God, there's a bowl of condoms. And in his confessional, he's like, well, it is my birthday tomorrow, so if she wants to give me a birthday gift, I'm not going to decline. I was like, okay. So.
And I'm sure when they left, he took all the condoms.
They did go in the suitcase. So now we're back again for the second day of the honeymoon, and guess who shows up?
We know it's Ben and Morgan. Let's just get into the meat of what happened in day 2 of the episode.
Well, you have to remember, I'm doing this for the people who don't actually watch the show and watch the review. So here's the meat of day 2. When all the couples get together, they all go on a boat trip. And didn't they do that before on the honeymoon? Was it last season?
They always do a boat trip.
The main takeaway on this boat trip for me was, again, Mitch and Kristen. But it was Kristen's conversation with the ladies. Because they asked her how everything was going for her. And she was like, you know what? I can't tell you right now. But tomorrow when we meet up, I'm going to let you know all the nitty gritty, because I can't say this on the boat ride. And I was like, there you go, Kristen. See, Kristen got something to get off her chest. Mm-hmm. And she don't want Mitch to be on the, overhearing what she got to say. And, some of the ladies were like, we could tell there's kind of like, not necessarily trouble in paradise, but there's something
brewing. Something's happening.
Yeah.
And they want to know all the tea.
So after the boat ride and everything, the very next day is Kristen and Mitch again.
Is it the next day or the night?
No, I believe it's the next day where they're getting massages, because no, they're not on the boat anymore. Mm-hmm. Or whenever it is, regardless of when it is. They're getting massages, and here comes the conversation again about the lack of spark, the lack of whatever they're having, not having, or are we just doing this because we're drinking shots, or are we just having a good time because of alcohol, or what's going on? But Kristen bottom lined it. She says, you know what? After this 8-week experiment, if we're not hugging, if we're not kissing or had any type of sexual relations,
or say I love you,
I will file for a divorce. And that was it.
I mean, I feel like that's fair on Kristen's part. If that's what Kristen wants and Mitch is not giving that to her but making her feel a type of way, she has to put her foot down somewhere, just like he told her that he wasn't attracted to her. Anywho, how did you feel about this episode?
I thought this was the Mitch and Kristen show, and I didn't think there was too many other couples that were involved that we saw a lot of scenes from, because we only saw like a little bit of Miguel and Lindy, but I guess, I don't know. And then I think Justin, I think he's moving too fast. I think he loves love and he's moving too fast.
He needs to pump the brakes.
Very much so. And I think Stacia and Nate have some talking to do about more than just the lust factor, finances, things like that, where they want to go in the future if they, stay together. And Ben and Morgan, I guess something's going to happen. He's going to spill some tea that he shouldn't have told for next week's episode. So
loose lips sink ships. That
There
should
it
have
is.
been the name of the episode. Anywho, let us know what you guys thought about this episode down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. We will be back next week for another Married at First Sight, and be back on Friday for Love After Lockup. So stay tuned to that.
thank you all again for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.